This evening, ACCE is proud to present its 11th Lifetime Achievement Award, sponsored by RBC.
We'd like to now invite Ms. Donna O'Reilly, Regional Vice President of Commercial Financial Services of RBC, to the stage.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So this is my first time attending the ACCE, and it's such an honor to be here. I'm so impressed with this venue and the good things that we're doing with entrepreneurs. So on behalf of everyone at RBC, I'd like to congratulate all the winners and nominees this evening. Entrepreneurs are the lifeblood of the Canadian economy, and in my job at RBC, I get to work one-on-one with the entrepreneurs every day across Ontario and Greater Toronto Region. In fact, we work with over 800,000 entrepreneurs across Canada every day. The ACCE Awards are among the most prestigious and recognized entrepreneurial awards in our country. As a company with deep business and personal ties to the Chinese-Canadian community, we are honored to be a part of them. We're also very honored to be a part and work very closely as great partners with ACCE. Thank you, Erwin. Since 2006, we've worked together to help the Chinese-Canadian business owners become more competitive in today's global marketplace. Tonight, I am so honored to present the 2017 ACCE Lifetime Achievement Award, which over the years has counted among its winners some of our nation's most prominent and influential political, business, and community leaders. Now for this moment we've all been waiting for. The winner tonight of this award is a pillar in our business community. As the founder of the Prospero International Realty Inc., he has built more than an incredible business. He has built a legacy. Part of that legacy began in 1987 when he founded the UBC Properties Trust, which assists University of British Columbia through optimization of land assets and has ultimately helped to secure our UBC's future. Please join me in congratulating Robert H. Lee, the recipient of the 2017 ACCE Lifetime Achievement Award. Let's take a look more about this incredible achievement.
Before Mr. Lee comes to the stage, let's watch the video first.
The Association of Chinese Canadian Entrepreneurs is pleased to award its 2017 Lifetime Achievement Award upon Robert H. Lee, founder and chair of Vancouver-based the Prospero Group.
This is the story of Robert H. Lee, a Chinese-Canadian real estate entrepreneur whose creative genius, coupled with his deep-seated commitment to philanthropy, will impact the city of Vancouver and the University of British Columbia for generations to come. Bob's persona, his innate warmth, unyielding moral fiber, and concern for the disadvantaged, stems directly from his father, Ron Bick Lee, who emigrated to Vancouver from Onsum Village, Guangdong, China, in 1911. Bob graduated with his commerce degree from UBC in 1956 and entered corporate real estate. His major transactions with the power elite from Vancouver and Asia made local headlines. He joined UBC's Board of Governors in 1984 and implemented a unique housing plan to benefit UBC's endowment fund.
What he's achieved through his vision and leadership is a legacy of an endowment that will last for perhaps not only decades but centuries to come.
I've had occasion to say before that I think of Bob Lee as Mr. UBC, and I really mean that. There's no one that I work with who is more dedicated, more passionate, and more creative about how to help the university. Bob's always calling me with new ideas, and he does it in a way that's so self-effacing. He's often behind the scenes, but he's the guy who often drives new gifts, new ideas, and new ways of thinking about the future for the university.
On his 60th birthday in June of 1993, Bob was installed as Chancellor of UBC, the first Chinese Canadian to attain that high honor. He additionally holds an honorary Doctor of Laws degree from UBC. In recognition of his many contributions to the university, the Graduate School of Business was renamed the Robert H. Lee Graduate School. And in 2015, the new Alumni Center was named the Robert H. Lee Alumni Center. Outside of UBC, Bob holds the Order of Canada, the Order of British Columbia, and has been inducted into the Business Laureates of BC Hall of Fame. His name also appears on the Robert Lee YMCA and the Bob and Lily Lee Health Center facility. Bob Lee's philanthropic mindset will positively benefit Greater Vancouver residents and UBC students.
In summary, Robert H. Lee's business and philanthropic accomplishments make him a fitting recipient of the 2017 Lifetime Achievement Award of the Association of Chinese Canadian Entrepreneurs.
Can I ask you all to join me in welcoming Mr. Robert Lee to the stage to receive the ACCE Lifetime Achievement Award presented by RBC.
Thank you. Thank you, Donna. Thank you.
I'd like to hang on to this. Well, thank you for the ovation. And honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm deeply honored to and be thankful here tonight to receive the Association of Chinese Canadian Entrepreneur Lifetime Achievement Award. It is humbling to join a selected group of illustrious business leaders. These men have left indelible marks in our country, and I'm privileged to find myself in their company. An award like this is not only an honor, but also an opportunity for me to reflect back in my life. As I stand before you tonight, I look back at my life and my years in business. I think of the path that I've taken, the lessons that I've learned, and those whom I owe a great debt of gratitude. I consider myself very, very lucky. My path has been heavily influenced by my father, whose wisdom and insight have guided me throughout my life and career. How lucky I was that he chose to come to Canada from China. But times were difficult in the early immigrants. He worked very hard and became very successful. And he wanted me to run the family business after I graduated. And I ran it for 2 years, and we became the #1 importer of bamboo drapes in Canada. But I wanted to make my own way. So almost 60 years ago in 1960, I started my career in real estate as a real estate salesman. When I first started, like many other times, there were many lean years at the beginning. With hard work and tenacity, I was fortunate to find success in the business I love. But I was very, very lucky in my life. In 1967, as we all know, maybe you're not old enough, but they had a Hong Kong bank run, and they were worried that China would take over Hong Kong in 1997. So many of the wealthy Chinese people from Hong Kong wanted to diversify their investments, so they came to Canada. One gentleman came in and wanted to buy an apartment block. And I said, 20 suiter? And he said, no, drive me around. And he said, I want to buy that one there, which is the largest one in the West End, 263 units. Well, to make a long story short, I was happy to conclude that transaction, and I made 10 times my annual salary. So I showed the check to my father, and he said, you're in the right business. But the other thing is this, that I was the only Chinese that sold commercial real estate. So I was very thankful that Dad forced me to go to Chinese school. So I had really a monopoly. So I saw all the largest buildings in Vancouver at that time. So that gave me a great start in my business. The two core values that my father passed on to me are family and community. I have tried to remain faithful to them in everything I have done and instill the values in my children. I've always been guided by the deep belief that if we are successful, we have a responsibility towards one another, and the true success measures in your investments in your community, your dedication, and your generosity, not only for your money, but also for your time, energy, and ideas. That is why I'm particularly proud of the work at UBC and UBC Property Trust. In 1984, I was asked to join the UBC Board of Governors. I was 52 years old at the time. I intended to stay 6 years, but I stayed over 30 years. While on the board, I had an idea to develop surplus land, which is around 500 acres, to generate income for endowment. It took 2 years to convince Dr. David Strangway and UBC visionary, no-nonsense new president, and the board that it was a good idea. I told them that I would form the company, select all the best directors, all of who would volunteer their time and expertise. Instead of selling the building lots on a traditional one-time basis, which effectively diminishes the land at UBC, I proposed that we lease the land. This way was very difficult to do because everybody wants to buy freehold. But if UBC wants the land back at the end of the lease, we would pay you for the improvements at market. So that was a sort of a selling tool. The income generated cannot go into general revenue, but it goes into endowment. To be conservative, they allocated only 28 acres, but no one bid because of leased land. So I thought, they said we should change. I said, no, give me a chance. I thought of who's used to leased land? People from Hong Kong. So I phoned my good friend George Soule, Paul White Construction in Hong Kong, who's a good friend of mine, and I asked him for $8 million in 1988. He says, what for? And I told him, you'll be the first building in UBC campus. He came over, built the building. Halfway through, everything was sold. So that was my really defining moment that at the end of the lease, we'll receive another huge check. When I started UBC Property Trust, my goal was to raise $1 billion from real estate. Today, we netted close to $1.4 billion from land leases, with only 60% sold or leased. And our rental buildings an appraisal surplus of $250 million. Because I really like rentals. That's how I built our family business and my partners. We are now forecasting revenue in excess of $3 billion, which will certainly, over time, move UBC the front rank of the world's foremost research institution. It is the investment of the future of UBC, generations of students to come, and ultimately investments for the future of our province and our country. And I'm proud to have been able to contribute building this amazing legacy for the future. The most important lesson I have learned in my career is, first and foremost, business is about building relationship, as the previous speaker said, which is why your integrity, reputation are paramount. Success is built on handshake that is trustworthy. And as you have heard, UBC and the Robert H. Lee Graduate School holds a very special place in my life. I'm a graduate of UBC, so is my wife Lily, and our 4 children, Carol, Derek, Leslie, and Graham, and so are their spouses, so there's 9 in our family, and that's 9 out of 9. That's why we're a UBC family. It is immensely rewarding, after all these years, to see my efforts bear fruit. I'm deeply indebted to my wife Lily, who's here tonight, and my family for their love and support, which made it all possible. And I'm very deeply grateful to President Irwin Lee and the nominating committee of the Association of Chinese Canadian Entrepreneurs for honoring me with the Lifetime Achievement Award. And I want to congratulate also all the other candidates that are going to be receiving the award tonight. Thank you very much.